Welcome back to the third Saturday in October, your SEC water cooler podcast for the rest of us. I almost said tailgate because, hey, for a few seasons, we were your tailgate podcast. But now we're water cooler because cooler? I don't know.
Well, we are cooler as hosts, and that's going to happen every year.
Yeah.
So let's be clear about that. But you're right. Whether you tailgate or you're hanging out at the water cooler, you should be talking about the things that are discussed on this show.
Yeah. SEC football, college football playoffs.
Yes.
And SEC basketball. Let's get into it. We're basically going to pick up where Jared and I left off before you joined us. We were talking about transfer portal mainly, and just the chaos that is college football offseason, even though we're not even fully there yet. Well, here's where we were. Auburn's lost 3 quarterbacks in the last week.
Three of our backup quarterbacks are now in the portal. One of them is already signed with Iowa, which is Hank Brown, who did get a little bit of playing time this year, and in my opinion would have been the eventual starter and the guy. So to lose him was a bummer. I get it. Bringing in Jackson Arnold, who's coming in from Oklahoma. A lot of upside, a lot of high ceiling with this guy potentially. So you get excited about the fact that, hey, we just picked up this stud, or what could be a stud from the portal, but then now you lose, multiple players, and that was our discussion, kind of going into hitting record, is the poison of the portal. It's the allure. It's like, man, you got some highs and lows. You can get really excited fast when you get that player, but what impact does that have on players who have egos or who might not be doing as well financially, and they think, well, the grass is greener. Right now, Tennessee's not experiencing a heavy amount of that, and I'm thankful that for the Tennessee fans, but Auburn's, hitting it a little bit, and it hurts. It hurts because you get, as a fan, you get, kind of attached in a way to some of these players, and
you get invested. Yeah,
you get emotionally invested in some of these coaches and some of these players. So when they just decide, hey, I'm out, it does almost kind of feel like a breakup in a sense. I know that sounds dramatic, and maybe it is, but I feel that way. I was like, man, we're losing some of these guys. These are guys I like. These are guys I wanted to watch the next few years. I wanted to see them succeed at my school. Not that I don't wish them well at these other schools, and I do. But it's just like, oh man, if we didn't have the portal craziness, how much of this would be happening?
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm for the players, and I want them to do well. I want them to make money. I want them to be compensated fairly. And if these things have to play out long enough for there to be better systems in place to protect all parties, and I do mean all parties. I guess that's the growing pains that we're in the middle of. But man, it does. There's an element of joy, but there's also an element of pain, and it's like Christmas. It's like I don't want to feel pain during Christmas,
right?
But here we are. So sorry.
Well, no, and here's some things here's some issues I had with the transfer portal. It's already opened up, and you've got 8 teams playing this weekend. 4 of them will be going home before bowl season even starts.
Which feels wrong. Yeah.
Yeah, it feels wrong. And if there are players who are like, I'm going to stick this out to see how far we make it into the playoffs, then how much are they going to be penalized for entering the transfer portal late? You had a good point. The good players are going to get picked up. The mediocre ones, they're the
elite
ones.
Starters are going to get picked up. The folks who are the backups, who are like, okay, well, my school didn't get past the first round of playoffs, so I'm going to test the waters. They're still an opportunity, but is it a starting opportunity? Is it a lateral move? Is it a move down?
Yeah.
Most likely it is. At best, it's a lateral move, and more than likely it's a move down.
Yeah.
Is that worth it? It might be, but I don't know. I don't, like I was thinking about Hank Brown with Auburn. Like he's leaving Auburn. Eventually, I think he would be the guy. He's going to go play at Iowa. Is Iowa really better than Auburn? Is that really a better situation? And for his sake, I
Not
hope
for
it
a
is.
quarterback, I'll tell you that much.
That's my point. That's like, is that the best move for him? And yeah, I don't know. We'll see. But Bradley, let's pretend for a moment one of your kids is like killing it in little league football, and then goes to middle school, and then all of a sudden you wake up and realize this kid's got a chance to be an elite guy. What would you tell your son to do given this landscape of football? Would you tell him, hey, go to the top school that you can go to and not play, or would it make more sense to go to a G5, play, and then transfer after a year of putting up some numbers? Where you make some NIL? Like, what do you tell your kid?
I'm telling my kid, and Peyton Manning said he talked to Arch Manning about this. I believe he talked to him about it. He mentioned this when somebody asked, why is Arch staying at Texas when Ewers was there and was sticking around for another year? He said that Arch really wanted to be developed by Sarkisian. And he picked the coaching staff. And that's what I'd tell my kid is, okay, who's your position coach and who's your head coach? Are they going to develop you in the ways that you want? Are they developing the kind of guys that you want to emulate? Are they going to prepare you possibly for the No Fun League? I'm sorry, the National Football League. If that's what you want to do. If you're like, I just want to play, like I've got no shot at the NFL, but I just want to play, then it's okay. What system do you fit in? And now there's more emphasis on the academics of, okay, football doesn't work out. What do you want your degree to be in? And find a happy middle ground between academics and coaching staff. I can tell you right now, my kids aren't going to the NFL. So it's going to be, but what's the best fit school wise, not just football program, school wise for you and your future. Hey, as a student, not a student athlete, just a student, I entered the transfer portal. Spent 2 years at Baylor, finished up 2 years and a summer at Belmont, because I picked out of high school. I picked what I needed then, and then what I needed changed, and so I transferred. I think as a Tennessee fan, I've watched, especially during the Heupel era, the transfer portal hasn't hurt us as much as it's helped us. And I don't know how much of it is Tennessee's got really deep pockets. And it seems like Heupel recruits the kind of guys that fit his system, not just going after the best recruiting class. I think there are some staffs that are just trying to get the best running back, the best lineman. Not every lineman can play in Heupel's system, so you got to find the right one. And they've not been historically good at developing linemen, but they're going and they're finding the receivers that fit their system. They're finding the quarterbacks that fit their system. They're finding the running backs that fit their system. So I think that's part of it. It's part of, if you can bring in, especially a high school student, this is how you're going to fit in, and you've got to work for 2, maybe 3 years, and then you're going to have a starring role in this offense, in this defense. I think you have to be honest with what that waiting period is going to look like. It's going to change. Somebody's going to get hurt, or somebody's going to transfer in. But it's really difficult. And I'm sitting here thinking, how would I fix a transfer portal? I think if you didn't play, like if you redshirted this year, so you didn't play in more than 4 games, transfer, and you can play immediately. If you play 20 or more snaps in 6 games, I'm just pulling numbers out of my hat, maybe you have to sit out the first 6 games. Or maybe it's however many games you played 20 or more snaps, you sit out half that. So if you played 6 games, you have to sit out the first 3. It's not, it used to be before the transfer portal, it was if you transfer, you have to sit out a year. And so maybe it's not quite a year, but maybe there is something in there where if you transfer and you've played a significant number of snaps, you don't get to play in every game. I don't know. Thoughts?
That's an interesting approach, and I have not.
It's hard to police.
It is hard to police, but there are aspects of that make sense to me. I don't know.
That way, the more significant the player, the more that next season is impacted.
Yeah. I like the aspect of, okay, I only got so much opportunity. Restrictions on, what impact that has. And maybe what you're describing is the way that goes.
Yeah.
And if you fix NIL, let's say, NIL becomes this thing where it's capped and there's only so much to be made and stuff. Does that solve some of this? It could.
I mean,
all of it, no, but it definitely helps.
I think it's going to have to be a combination of things.
There's a lot of things that need to happen that are not just one-offs. You can't just fix it with a one-off. There's, we're going to just see this for a couple of years until people get so loud and obnoxious about it that finally people are like, all right, we got to. And it's going to have to happen to a school like in Alabama, or it's going to have to happen to a school that has enough influence to. Ohio State, even someone like that, where they're just like, well, this isn't fair, and then all of a sudden you'll be like, well, yeah, the rest of us have known this for several seasons.
And those are 2 schools that are primed for something like this.
Yeah,
because Alabama barely missed the playoffs.
Yeah, Ohio. They did not. I mean, ultimately, they had 3 losses, and that's all.
Yeah.
Them. So
I'm not saying it's
them not making it.
I'm not saying it's wrong that they missed the playoffs.
Yeah,
but a week ago, I guess 2 weeks ago, they were in. Basically, Clemson was out and Alabama was in. Because Clemson won the ACC, they got an automatic spot, bumps Alabama out. Ohio State if they lose to Tennessee, how much does Ryan Day's seat heat up?
Yeah, a lot of what ifs. What if Arizona State had lost to Iowa State? Iowa State would be in. Would Arizona State still be in? Because SMU is still in.
Right.
And then who would that have knocked out?
Yeah.
There's a lot of what ifs.
Yeah. So let's get to the playoffs. We talked about it a little bit last week. Do I wish Tennessee was playing anybody else? Probably. Maybe not Texas. I don't know about Penn State. Ohio State
I would want Penn State because their backup quarterback just joined the portal. He's not even playing.
Yeah.
He's not even going to be in the game.
So So I'm
But the weather up there is terrible. Like the is like snow and SMU. I don't know how they'll favor with that.
yeah,
That's probably not good for SMU.
that'll be interesting. Let's start with Penn State and SMU, just because we're talking about them. Penn State has a really good opportunity here.
Yeah, it's a home game.
They've got
And it's
SMU,
cold weather. Yeah.
and then they go play Boise State. And
I think all that time off actually hurts Boise State. Maybe I'm wrong.
yeah, no, I agree. And that's going to be in the Fiesta Bowl.
I personally don't like a G5 having a bye.
I mean, it's
Can I say that?
well, so it's 3 weeks. It's 3 weeks off. I mean, that's a long time to be off. The first round, everybody gets a week off. So, or 2 if they didn't play in the conference championship, like Ohio State and Tennessee.
A week off is as the least they should have, because my goodness, what a gauntlet it took to even get here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Penn State's got a golden opportunity to make it to the semis, because
Yeah, it's on them if they don't.
yeah,
For them not to make the semifinals would be a disgrace, and truthfully, for them not to make the Final Four would be a disgrace, because
yeah.
I think Penn State up against Boise, unless Boise's just way better, and I think they are. I'm picking Penn State.
Yeah. So, staying on that same side of the bracket, we've got Indiana at Notre Dame, and I don't know about either one of these teams. I don't know if I can trust their.
No, Notre Dame went to LSU or played LSU on a neutral field and won,
Yeah.
but they lost. Yeah, that ugly loss to NIU. Okay, let's just pretend Notre Dame does beat Indiana, and then it's Georgia. Can they really beat Georgia?
I mean,
It seems like a pretty nice matchup, no matter who Georgia gets.
Yeah.
For Georgia. So
and who's Georgia's quarterback going to be?
I don't know. Who's the healthiest? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Had a couple weeks, right? So
Stockton had a good second half.
how is he? Is he okay? I haven't even looked. So
Yeah, I don't. What I heard was hey, hang on just a second. Jesse just texted me. Let me go check on it real quick. Sorry, I was worried Jesse dropped something on her toe and was seriously hurt. It wasn't bad. What was I talking about?
we were talking about Stockton.
Yeah. So Carson Beck's injury is similar to a lot of pitchers in baseball. Requires Tommy John surgery. Now, I don't know if he is going to need Tommy John surgery. I haven't seen anything about Carson Beck. I've also been kind of wrapped up in college basketball for a week.
Rightfully so, with Tennessee being number one. Go ahead.
Auburn's closing in on number one because they're playing really well. But,
Yep.
but they were saying early on, this was the day after the SEC championship. The thing is, as a quarterback, you're not putting as much torque on your elbow and your arm as a pitcher does, as a baseball player does. So it may not need the same surgery. It may not need the same recovery time. 3 weeks is a lot of time to let that thing rest. But Stockton played really well. So I don't know how that hurts Georgia's chances. But they get either Indiana or Notre Dame. If I'm Georgia, I'm feeling pretty good about that. So I don't know if I trust Penn State to make it to the semis, but they should. So I'm picking Penn State and Georgia to make it to the semis on that side. I really think
barring some super chaos, I think you're right.
Which this would be the season.
This would be the year for it, yeah.
On the other side, I really do think Tennessee's got a really good shot at beating Ohio State, and I think they do it.
I mean, that's not a cupcake. That's at Columbus, so they have to earn that one.
Yeah. It's going to be tough.
But huge if they do. But then they got Oregon. We talked about this last time. I mean, dude, there is no easy task for Tennessee to get to the championship.
No,
it is not. They have the hardest route. Absolutely.
Yeah, and so that game against so Georgia's first game is the Sugar Bowl in Louisiana. Oregon is going to play the winner of Tennessee Ohio State in the Rose Bowl, which I guess is
traditionally that would have been like an Oregon Ohio State type of game.
Yeah,
with the Big Ten and Pac-12, but if we can help it, right? Tennessee.
Yeah, and we've already seen Ohio State and Oregon this year.
I'm not going to lie, that would be kind of fun if Tennessee beats Ohio State, and you said to me, Jared, what do you say? Let's just go out to the Rose Bowl. I might be tempted.
Yeah. I've got a cousin that lives on the Rose Bowl parade route, so she can just step out her door and see the Rose.
Does she have a couple
Rose Bowl
couches?
Parade. But my father-in-law went out there, said it's an awesome experience, just the whole Rose Bowl experience. I'd love to see the Rose Bowl have somebody besides. I mean, I guess it's always been Pac-12.
Yeah, Pac-12, Big Ten. Yeah.
Like the runners-up, because usually the winners are going to the playoffs.
Yeah.
So that would be tough. I don't know how Tennessee matches up against an Oregon.
Oregon is a good school. They're a good team. Neutral site, I think that actually helps Tennessee.
Yeah.
But it is California, but I don't know that matters, to be honest. At least the weather will be good.
You're going from Eastern time zone to Pacific time zone, which
I mean, yeah, that has an impact, but you got a little time to prep for that. I don't know if that'll be the biggest concern. Or the biggest concern is Oregon's a good team. That's the biggest concern. I mean, Oregon's not a cupcake. They are very good.
Yeah. So then you've got Texas and Clemson. I think Texas wins this one.
Yeah, I agree.
And they take on Arizona State. I think Texas wins again.
Absolutely. Yeah. So Texas should not have trouble getting to the semifinals.
Yeah. So it should be Georgia, Penn State,
most likely.
Oregon, and Texas, which would be interesting.
I'd like to see Tennessee,
SEC, and Big Ten
in there. You're right. Oregon would likely be favored over Tennessee.
If I'm filling out this bracket, I got Tennessee going, and
of course you do. I want to see. And there's no, we don't know that won't happen. But I mean, the ESPNs are going to say Oregon. We know that.
Yeah. So if that happens, you've got Tennessee, Texas in the Cotton Bowl. That's practically a home game for Texas.
It is, but that would be fun. That'd be a cool game.
Then you've got Georgia, Penn State in the Orange Bowl.
Also a cool game. That's in my hood. Shoot.
I mean, geez, look. This
Dang, I might try to go to that.
right?
Oh, it's right here, Miami. That's close to me. So.
And so and
Where's the championship game? Where's that at?
let me find out.
Yeah,
Mercedes Benz
I know that Mercedes Benz. Oh, it's in Atlanta.
home game for Georgia.
That's a home game for Georgia, dude. Georgia's set up nicely.
They really are. Because
And you've already beaten Texas, so if somehow Texas got by Oregon or Tennessee, then you got a rematch of the SEC champ. Wow, interesting.
For the third time,
and they've already played in that same stadium just a few weeks before.
Yeah,
I don't want to see that personally.
I don't want to see
that. Could happen. That very well could happen.
Honestly, I don't want to see Georgia Tennessee. I don't want to play Georgia again. I want to play Penn State. If I'm Tennessee
doesn't have a choice. If they make it, they're likely playing Georgia, and you know it, and I know.
I know.
So if they're going to win the championship, they gotta face the fear, man. They got to do it.
Unless is it Stockton?
And truthfully, I don't think you'd have it any other way. You really wouldn't. That's the ultimate way to win a championship is overcome the team that you know.
One of your biggest rivals? Yeah.
Yeah, you got it, and you win it. You win a national championship doing it. I mean, shoot. That's a Tennessee story. That's a legend. That's what that is.
Yeah, Nico's making.
I think we all agree that's going to be a hard thing to do. I mean, I hope they do it, but man,
if Tennessee makes it to the national championship, beats Georgia, Nico's making $10 million next year. Like it's just
yeah, rightfully so. So I hope Heupel's making $10 million. Shoot.
Oh man, I don't know.
Every Tennessee fan will feel like $10 million. That's for sure.
Yeah, I like Tennessee's chances to get to the semis. Like I said, Oregon's the only unbeaten team in the country. That's going to be tough. Ohio State's going to be tough, but I do like Tennessee's chances. I don't think
Oregon's played a lot of really tough teams, and so they might get caught. They might get surprised against Tennessee because Tennessee's battle tested, even though they don't have the same record. Tennessee's played really tough teams, so that I think is the advantage they have going into an Ohio State and going against Oregon potentially.
Yeah.
So,
and defense travels.
That's right.
In unless it's to Athens or to Fayetteville, in Tennessee's case. But
I know we laugh and we joke at that, but man, those two losses I think could be what puts you in a position to actually run the gauntlet.
Yeah.
It's because you know the bitterness. You know what it's like dude, we should have won those. We could have won those. Now it's no more should have, could have. It's like, okay, do or die, and you've been there.
Yeah.
Where Oregon hasn't, and Ohio State's played a lot of cupcakes. So you're in a good position.
If Tennessee wins one of those two games, makes it to the SEC championship to play Texas. Texas wins, so they get
well, we don't know that. They didn't play.
Right. If Texas beats Tennessee, gets the number 2 spot, Georgia's out. If Tennessee's playing Clemson and Arizona State, man, forget about it.
I agree with you. I think you put Tennessee anywhere else on this bracket, and they almost got a sure shot. But I still think they have a reasonable shot. It's not perfect, but I like that they have to take on the big boys, and that's good.
I do too.
It's not fun, but it's a little nerve-wracking for the Tennessee fans. But man, this is your chance. This is Heupel's chance.
And
go get him, dude. Go get him.
Rocky Top is on such a high because let's rewind this a little bit.
We haven't seen anything, and if they win, it will be a stratospheric high. Like
Ron
Elon
Slay.
Musk SpaceX high.
Ron Slay played for Tennessee basketball early 2000s.
Yeah.
He's on 104.5 The Zone here in Nashville, Sports Talk Radio. It's funny. A few weeks ago, he said, if you love this earth, do not let Tennessee win this national championship in football. You saw what they did in June when Tennessee won the baseball national championship. There were there were like 50, 60,000 people at that parade 24 hours after Tennessee wins. Basketball, well, even before basketball started. So we got baseball national championship. Football kicks off. And it's things are clicking on all cylinders. We got 2 losses, one to Arkansas, one to Georgia. But hey, we're in the playoffs. We're in. Like, all you have to do is get in.
And you're facing the team everybody hates.
Yeah. Yeah.
So more people are pulling for Tennessee than probably ever.
Oh, man. Yeah. Ohio State.
Michigan's pulling for Tennessee.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah.
Meanwhile, as that's kind of, as the football season's the regular season's kind of coming to an end, here comes the basketball team quietly 8-0, 10-0. 10-0, number 1 ranking. I mean, Rocky Top is just about to bust with excitement. So I think the fans that do make it up to Columbus, they're going to be, I mean, they're not going to be as loud as Ohio State, but Tennessee's going to know that their fans are there. And I think that's going to help fuel them. Heck, Nico has said he'd rather play away games than home games. So, hey, now is your time to shine. Nico, let's go. I'm really excited about this game on Saturday. I don't know what else to say.
Are we able to just briefly talk basketball, or is that we're not?
No, let's do it.
Well, I don't want to get away from football talk, but I do want to recognize that the SEC has 8 teams in the top 17 right now in men's basketball.
I think 7 of the top 10 or something like that.
It's fantastic, dude. Like, what a league. SEC is and of course your Tennessee Vols are number 1. Auburn's right up there with them in number 2. You got Kentucky. I think that's they're definitely. I want to say they're in the top 5.
Yeah, Kentucky's number 4.
Okay, Kentucky, yeah, and I know Alabama and Florida, or at least likely in the top 10. I think.
Alabama 6, Florida 7.
Florida 7. Okay, so you got all 6 of those schools in top 10, and then you got A&M, Oklahoma, and Ole Miss are in the top. They're in the top 20.
Yeah,
top 17,
A&M's at 12, Oklahoma's at 14, Ole Miss is at 17. So that's 7 teams in the top 17. It's crazy.
I wouldn't have it any other way, man. I'm really happy for all those schools. And let's not pretend, because we still got some other schools like Arkansas's got, Calipari, and you have schools that may not be in that top 17, but they're still, they're not pushovers.
Yeah.
So yeah, the SEC. Oh man, we are so stacked in men's basketball. If there's not a SEC team that wins it this year, shame on us. So,
and Tennessee travels to Auburn end of January, I believe.
Dude, what a game. That's gonna be a crazy game. And Auburn plays good at home.
Yeah, no, I'm genuinely worried about that game. I love watching Bruce Pearl coached teams. It's fun. I remember when Tennessee beat number 1 Memphis. This would have been 2007, maybe 2008, and just the style of basketball that Coach Pearl loves to coach and recruits for is fantastic. It's exciting basketball to watch. Tennessee lost Dalton Connect, lost Josiah Jordan James, lost Santi Vescovi. I still can't remember how to say his name. I'm trying to remember who else. Those were the big 3. But Dalton Connect, the guy who was just on fire. We went out and found another one. I know it's early in the season.
Yeah.
Chaz Lanier, look out. But I'm really excited for this Tennessee basketball season.
Yeah, Chaz Lanier is what, fifth year guy?
Yeah.
He's averaging like 20 points a game. I don't know what he's averaging, but he's killing it.
But before the win against Illinois, it was 19 and change that he was averaging, and he was at where was he last year? He was at a Florida school, a smaller Florida school,
yeah.
But last year averaging I think 19.8 points. He's making ridiculous shots from well beyond the arc. It has been fun to watch. I don't think
balls are a fun team to watch for sure.
Yeah,
undefeated, right? You guys haven't lost a game, right?
Yeah, we're 10-0.
10-0.
Auburn's 9-1.
Well, Auburn lost to Duke at Duke.
Good loss.
And that was like single digits, single digit loss. Like,
and that's why they're currently number 2 in the AP poll.
Yeah,
it's like, okay, you lost at, was it Camden Indoor?
Yeah, in Durham. Yep.
So
again, it was a close game. It was a good game.
Yeah. How many teams go into that atmosphere and win? Not many.
We traveled well too. Like that was one of the complaints of Duke is like, dude, we felt like we were playing North Carolina. Like all the Auburn people showed up.
Yeah,
like they're not used to having teams travel like that for basketball.
So where does it say? Oh, it doesn't. Bio. North Florida. Chaz Lanier came from North Florida, where he played 4 seasons.
Where's that? I don't even know where that is.
Well, so like you go up, like
it's probably. So I'm guessing it's north of.
It's probably north of Orlando.
It's not in Orlando. I used to live in Orlando. Let's see, University of North Florida. Where is that? That is in. I'm looking it up now because I don't even know. Jacksonville. Oh, okay.
Oh, there you go.
It's in Jacksonville. There you go. Sweet.
So, he looks like he was born in Nashville. Chaz Lanier. Not sure where he went to high school, but
okay. Well, that's fitting that he came back home to go to Tennessee.
Yeah,
well, not home, but you know what I mean.
But he is just lights out this year. Currently averaging 18.9 points a game.
That's insane. Love it.
And it's been fun to watch. I'm gonna be conflicted throughout the college football playoffs because I gotta watch both teams. But it's Tennessee plays some fun basketball. Auburn.
You guys have veterans on your team too. Like all your top players, or at least probably your top like 4 or 5 players, are seniors.
Yeah. So we've got Jordan Gainey.
Yeah, he's a senior.
He's a senior. He had the buzzer beater the other night,
dude,
which was
that was one against Illinois. That was crazy.
Against Illinois. Illinois ties it up with 5 seconds left.
Yeah, what a game.
Gainey inbounds the ball.
You were texting. You were like,
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Like, you got. I can't believe. Gainey inbounds the ball. They give it right back to him. He sees things open up. He takes the ball straight down the court, lays it up. It falls. It bounces around, falls through the rim as the clock hit 0. So to prevent overtime. And it was amazing to watch. So we got him.
It was amazing to watch. If people haven't watched that, go find that on YouTube. That's worth
yes.
Out. Yep.
Jemai Meshack, who his whole goal is to be the best defensive basketball player Tennessee's ever seen.
And his steals, like I know he's averaging at least a couple steals per game. The guy is a beast. Yeah,
Yeah. So
he's defensive superstar for sure.
yeah, averaging 4.5 rebounds, a few assists. It doesn't have. Does he have steals on here?
If I had to guess, he's probably at least two.
He's averaging almost 2.5 steals a game.
Okay, I'm not surprised by that. Yeah, he's a stud.
He's
Yeah,
yeah.
and he's a senior. He's a senior.
He's a senior from California. Been here the whole time. Gainey's been here the whole time, I think. Zakai Ziegler is just a fantastic ball handler.
Yeah, he's a good defensive player too. So
those are the guys who are really anchoring this team, and it's guys who have.
when you got the 6'10" senior, was it Milicic?
Milicic, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that
from
dude,
Croatia.
He's a rebound freak. So
yeah, and that's truly what we've lacked is a dominant center, somebody who can just anchor the paint. Just Tennessee style has not lent itself, and that's why we lost to Purdue last year. We couldn't match up.
Well, Purdue had that like giant.
Yeah,
I don't even remember the guy's name, but he was like massive.
Yeah. So it's gonna be fun. These seniors who've been here for a long 4 or 5 years, they have won the SEC. They've won the SEC tournament. They've made it to the Elite Eight. They understand what it takes to make it that far, and how grueling it is to play the full season. And so, I mean, I like our chances. It's a long season. We'll see what kind of injuries and foul trouble, hot streaks, cold streaks, how they take a toll on this team. But I think they've got enough weapons that if Chaz Lanier goes cold for a night, somebody else is going to pick it up. Against Illinois, we had 2 guys foul out. And you saw Jordan Gainey pick it up, take care of or take the reins and win it for us. So
yeah, that was awesome. Well, I know there's a couple games coming up for Tennessee. I know let's see, who's their next big game? They've got Western Carolina. That's not really a big game. Arkansas, that's their first, I guess, SEC game. So that'd be on the 4th of January.
Yeah, then
they got Florida a couple days after that. So that's a big one.
Yeah,
that's
so
a top 10 matchup. So
WCU, MTSU, in-state team who's 8-3.
Tennessee State. You got Norfolk State. Yeah. And then you start SEC play. So
once we start SEC play, it is. I mean, everything.
Yeah, January is going to be an exciting month, but you might have a heartbreaker here or there. We'll see.
Yeah,
really, you got Florida and Auburn. Those are your big matchups. I mean, you got other schools that you're playing, but those are ranked schools.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. It's going to be fun. I hope there's not quite as much chaos. I mean, the basketball kind of by nature is chaotic. Yeah. I hope it's not quite as chaotic as football was, simply because I want to see a loaded NCAA bracket of SEC teams.
Seems likely, but we got a lot of games to play. But yeah.
Arkansas, Florida.
I mean, out of 10 games, South Carolina has a 7-3 record. They're the worst record in the SEC as of right now, 7-3.
Yeah.
So if that tells you anything. Now, I'm sure they're not playing, the big boys every game, but still 7-3 in 10 games. That's not bad.
Yeah.
So
So we'll have a lot of.
they lost to Indiana, which is ranked 16. They lost to Xavier, who's ranked in the top 25. And funny enough, they lost to North Florida, which is strange. North Florida must be pretty good.
They lost their best player.
Yeah, well, North Florida beat South Carolina.
Yeah.
That was the first game of the season. Huh, that's interesting. Okay. Well,
That's basketball for you.
there it is. Yeah.
It's fun. By the way, Tennessee unveiled a week ago their blackout unis in basketball. I'm a fan. I am a fan.
Okay, I'm gonna have to Google that. Let's see.
I know we've talked a lot about Tennessee basketball. Bruce Pearl can do special things and continues to do great things at Auburn.
Yes.
I think these are the two teams to beat in the SEC.
Yeah, well, I mean, and in no way am I taking away from your Tennessee Vols, but this could be Auburn's year in basketball. They have a squad that is battle tested, and they're fun to watch. They love to win. They know how to come back from being down, even 20 plus points. They can still hang. Definitely Auburn they're a threat for sure.
I mean, they've already got wins over Houston,
Yeah.
Iowa State, UNC.
Yeah, that Iowa State game was kind of like your Illinois game. It came down to the wire, and they won, last second. It was I was freaking out. They beat North Carolina. They did lose to Duke at Duke, but they just played Ohio State, who's not ranked, but they beat Ohio State at Ohio State. I don't think that's ever a give me. They got Purdue coming up on the 21st, so that ought to be a good game. That's going to be on ESPN. So yeah, no rest for the weary.
Yeah, no, Auburn has played some good teams, and I heard Rick Barnes say this that. Early in his coaching career, they were left out of the NCAA tournament because they had a very weak schedule, pre-conference schedule. And he vowed never to schedule never schedule wins early in the season, just schedule good competition. And that's exactly what Auburn's done. With some of these early tournaments, early classics, Maui Invitational's a great one.
Well, you couldn't predict who all you were going to play in the Maui Invitational, but they did draw, Iowa State that first round, which Iowa State's a top 5 team, and then they ended up playing North Carolina and they ended up beating Memphis. But they had already on the schedule, aside from the Maui Invitational, they had, like you said, Houston at a neutral site. They had Duke at Duke, and then they've got Purdue coming up. Those are beasts. Those are good teams. So you're right. That's intentional scheduling, and that's a risk because you could lose all those. We did lose to Duke, but losing to Duke at Duke, we haven't been penalized too bad because Auburn's still ranked number 2.
And Memphis at the time was 6-1, unranked, but now they're ranked 21 and are currently 8-2. So
Memphis is good. Yeah, they're a good team.
So you beat a good Memphis team too.
Yeah.
So exactly what you said. Auburn has been battle tested, and I think they're ready for. I mean.
Now,
I think it's a coin
Tennessee.
flip.
I mean, I think it'll be a good game, and it's at Auburn, so that could favor Auburn, likely. But that I think the Auburn can hang with any of the schools in the SEC right now for sure.
Yeah, no, I think right now the SEC regular season and or tournament goes to either Tennessee or Auburn. Auburn.
I'd love to see them both make the Final Four. That'd be fun.
Oh man. they have a regular season matchup. Love to see them match up in the SEC tournament. Love to see them Final Four with the potential of playing again, whether that's a Final Four matchup or in the championship game. I'm here for it.
Yeah, Auburn. It doesn't get any easier for Auburn too, because like we talked about, you got Purdue, you got Tennessee coming up in January. Then February hits, you got Ole Miss, you got Oklahoma who's ranked, you got Florida who's ranked, you got Alabama who's ranked, Ole Miss, and then in March early March you got Kentucky at Kentucky, you got Texas A&M. Dude, and you got Alabama. So it's. Oh, man. If they're gonna make it happen, they're gonna have to really step up. It's not gonna get easy. So
yeah, it doesn't get any easier when you get to basketball season.
No, it doesn't.
We still got a little bit of football left.
I can't wait. Yeah, it almost feels wrong talking so much basketball, but man, we got to. It's just.
It's too much.
When will Tennessee be 1 and Auburn be 2? How often is that? For you, it's probably more often than Auburn.
So, only recently.
Yeah,
only recently, but I'm gonna soak it in every minute that I can. This weekend, the college football playoffs kick off Friday night. It starts. 3 more games on Saturday, ending the night with Tennessee at Ohio State. I think I can say this weekend we're all Tennessee fans, and I'll take all the bandwagon fans I can get. So let's go.
I am desperate to see Tennessee beat Ohio State. It must happen. I'm willing it to happen.
Yeah.
So
my cousin, she married into. She married an Ohio State fan, and so there'll be a little bit of family drama, I'm sure, on that day. But
real quickly before we wrap up, there are some other SEC schools that are playing in bowl games, so maybe we can touch on those just briefly. We got Tulane in Florida. That's on Friday, December 20th, so that's coming up this Friday.
Yeah.
So Tulane's not a cupcake. They're a good team. Florida's had a really nice end to their season. It would be really great for Florida to finish off with a win against Tulane. I think that's likely, but it depends on who shows up and who doesn't at the bowl games. Some of these games, you might not have your best players. Let's see who else we got. SEC's got a couple more. I'm kind of scrolling through now. Oklahoma's playing Navy. Navy might take Oklahoma in that one. That's Friday, December 27th. Vanderbilt's playing Georgia Tech in Birmingham. That should be a good game, Vanderbilt and Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
Assuming they have all their players. Arkansas's got Texas Tech. That's an old, is that an old Big 8 rivalry or Southwest Conference rivalry? I think it is, but I might be wrong. So, should be a good game.
Yeah, I can't remember. My Southwest Conference didn't go. History doesn't go back that far.
Yeah, well, I know Arkansas used to be in the Southwest Conference. I think Tech was as well, but I might be wrong. And A&M's playing USC. Be nice to see A&M pull that one out. That's in Vegas. That's on the 27th as well. And then we've got who else we got? Is that all? Maybe that's all. No, Missouri. Missouri has Iowa.
Yeah,
that's December 30th. That's actually in Nashville. That's at Nissan Stadium.
The Trans Perfect. I'm scared to Google Trans Perfect, but Trans Perfect Music City Bowl. And then
is that the Jaguar Bowl? Is that
sorry. Which by the way, I hear, especially on Sports Talk Radio, the Music City Bowl is actively trying to pursue better and better slots. Like they are trying to become a better bowl.
Why not?
With a new Titan Stadium. I think that's absolutely going to happen. Nashville being a destination city. Mm-hmm. The only thing we don't have going for us is the weather, and that's something that your Cotton Bowl, Sugar Bowl, Citrus Bowl, Orange Bowl, like We can't compete with that.
Not yet.
You got my Baylor Bears taking on LSU on New Year's Eve
That's New Year's Eve. That's
in
true.
the Texas Bowl. Alabama, Michigan.
Yep.
I'm intrigued.
That ought to be a good one. That's in Tampa. Yep.
The ReliaQuest Bowl. South Carolina takes on Illinois in the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl.
Okay, now that one I think is interesting because Illinois was pretty good this year. So
yeah,
who
2-9-3 teams. A top 20 matchup: number 15 South Carolina versus number 20 Illinois. Yeah.
And then on the 2nd of January, you got Ole Miss. They're playing Duke. That would feel a little deflating to me if I'm Ole Miss, to be honest. But
yeah. By the way, Bill Belichick going to UNC.
Yeah, you and I had a text exchange about that. Baller move by UNC. Could UNC eventually end up in the SEC down the road when there's another merge or whatever? I think that
when the ACC finally just dissolves like Alka-Seltzer.
Well, I don't want it to dissolve, but if there is another crazy situation where teams are added, it's and the ACC implodes. I could see UNC being part of the SEC, but
yeah.
What a huge move and a flex by them to get in Belichick, and I don't know what that does, but if they have the money that they probably have to hire him and whatever commitment he wants for NIL, that could make UNC a contender pretty quick. So definitely going to be fun to watch that.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this experiment works because I think the biggest recruiting thing is I've coached in the NFL. I know what it takes to be in the NFL.
Dude, not only coached, but won multiple Super Bowls. My goodness,
yeah. 6? Do you win 6?
If you didn't get Belichick, you get Saban. My good, Belichick. That's a huge hire. Let's not pretend. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
So, and I'm kind of surprised he's doing it.
But for somebody who's never coached at the college level, coming in,
I mean,
in the Wild West of college football, like that's the only thing that gives me pause is.
Well, and it was no secret he had a list of demands a mile long, and apparently they met enough of them. And probably in that list of demands is, hey, to compete on the college level, you got to have X amount of money for NIL, and UNC either is going to. Apparently they ponied up enough to make him say yes. So
yeah,
so this could be the change of a lifetime for UNC fans in terms of football. No question. And if it isn't, still a cool story.
Yeah.
But, I'm not a Belichick fan. I constantly rooted against him in the NFL.
Yeah.
So, but I kind of find myself wanting to, give him some love here in the college ranks. So we'll see.
Yeah. Well, we will see. It's going to be an interesting. It's going to be an interesting season next season with Belichick. But hey. We got some playoffs to get through first.
Yeah.
And let us know what you think.
That includes a Tennessee victory. Yep.
Oh, man. Come on.
Multiple, but at least over Ohio State.
Yeah. Yeah. 4 wins. 4 wins.
It's only 4. Now it's against some of the best of the best, but
yeah.
Why not Tennessee? Why not?
Why not? Well, if you want to weigh in on the playoff picture, find us on social media at TSIO Pod, online at Third Saturday in October.com. If you want to support the show, if you want to send us to the Rose Bowl,
we would go. Yes.
Find us on Venmo at TSIO Pod. And if you want to talk college basketball, just stick around. It's going to happen. Jared, it all comes down to this. Just get in and then win. Can we?
Now is the time.
Can we trademark that? Can we?
I want T-shirts.
Just get in and then win.
Yeah.
But anyways,
I want a Tennessee orange, colored T-shirt with that on there. I as an Auburn fan, I will wear it with pride. So
I mean, it's just a little less red than the Auburn orange. It's close. I just want to remind you that heroes come in all sizes, and as we're all going to say this Saturday night, come I don't know 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Central, I think. Roll Vols.
amen. Let's see Ohio State finally take on a real team and at home. That's what I want to see, and
Yeah.
that's what we're gonna find out coming up soon.
Preach.
Tailgate, man cave, living room, pregame, burgers, ribs, chicken wings, chip and dip.